शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्ज सम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா। लोकवीर्यं महापूज्यं सर्वरक्षाकरं विभुं पार्वतीहृदयानन्दं शास्तारं प्रणमाम्यहं। स्वामिये शरणमय्यप्पा। वागर्ताविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्तप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्रीपार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं कूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मत्सुरचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णे नैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहं। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन्। हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरणभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं चक्रवाटी ध्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्तिव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशी विभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्ठात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനോ മഞ്ഞനെ കുമ്പീരേന്താത്തോരു രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കെന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare. Okay, welcome everyone. So we'll start always with this Dhyana Slokam, and even if you don't know some of these slokams, no worries, you'll eventually learn as we go through all these classes, right? So I'm not going to spend time teaching this, but you'll eventually get the hang of it when we chant every time. So what I thought today we can start is, because a lot of you don't know each other, and I'm just looking at my screen, and we'll go from left to right. So just maybe take like 30 seconds, introduce yourself, right? And then where you are from, because there are people from different locations as well. And if you have any contextual reference to Narayaniam, your parents have studied it, or anything like that, then just quick. We have 20 of us here, so let's just go through it quickly. So Kalpana Garu, you are the first one on my screen.
Okay, sure. Hi, this is Kalpana Cheripuri. I live in Lyle in the western suburbs. I actually hadn't heard about Narayaniam until Rajesh pinged me end of October, asking me if I would want to join the class. And at that time, I was focused on Devi Mahatyam. So I told him that I will definitely join the next batch. And then I was very curious about Narayaniam. So I actually Googled it just like anybody else. And when I, heard the story of Narayana Bhattadri and why he composed Narayaniam, it really it was very moving, and it was so powerful. So I definitely thought I should learn this. And thank you, Rajesh, for approaching me. And actually, thanks to Dhanya and Sangeeta from the Devi Mahatyam class, who actually encouraged me to do this. So very much looking forward to it. And thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Kalpana. Sindhuji.
Namaskaram, everybody. I am Sindhu. I live in Deerfield, in the Chicago area. I have heard about, born and brought up in Kerala, and being a Hindu, I think there is no way I want to hear about Narayaniam. But I didn't know to chant or anything until probably 7, 8 years ago. And I heard other people chanting, and I wanted to learn myself. So I learned a few of the dashakams to chant. Then recently, only like after COVID started, like couple months ago, I thought, okay, I want to chant Narayaniam one dashakam every day, and I started doing it. And today I just did 89 the dashakam, and it's so amazing, surprising that I met Rajesh ji at the temple on the Shivaratri day, and we happened to talk about his class about Narayaniam, and it was, I couldn't believe, I wanted to learn to chant the whole Narayaniam, and an opportunity just came to me. So thank you so much, Rajesh ji.
Thank you, Sindhuji.
So much looking forward to learning.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sindhuji's husband Anand, who most of you might know from the Grace Lake Temple, who's a big Ayyappa devotee, he's also going to be joining. He couldn't attend today because of the Vishu celebrations happening at the temple. So, Vani Garu.
Namaskaram. I'm Srivani. I know Rajesh ji because we are doing the Devi Mahatmyam together as every day. So this is a big opportunity for me to learn. So none of my family know about it. I mean, they know, but none of my family has any learning with this Narayaniam yet. So my family is excited. I'm excited for it. Thank you so much for starting the class.
Sure, absolutely. Lavanya Swami.
Hello, everyone. Namaste. My name is Lavanya, husband Swaminathan. So originally from Chennai and Trichy, respectively. Now Buffalo Grove is home. We have two kids, Sadhvi, 14 years, and Anish, 9 years. So we know Rajesh ji through our Sasnam chanting group. So personally with Narayaniam, my mom chants Narayaniam. So she, I've always seen the book around at home. I've seen her chant. I've heard her chant, but never really took any initiative to learn. So when Rajesh ji approached, first of all, my belief and rather ingrained in me is it's when my mom has always said, you learn when Ishvara wants you to learn. So the opportunity, I had an opportunity to learn Tiruppugar. It's like Muruga wanting, Muruga's kataksham is there, Muruga's blessings are there. So it's like, I think, truly believe, and what I hear from others as well. It's like Lord Narayana's kataksham blessings that we get to learn. And I think important aspect of learning is also making sure the pronunciation, all of that is correct. So learning it from a guru is I think, vital. And so we are very glad for this opportunity, Rajesh. Ji, thank you. Thank you for,
Thanks, Lavanya. And
yeah.
glad both of you are able to join, so that's very important as well. So, thanks, Swami. Narayani.
Hello, everyone. My name is Narayani. I live in the northern suburb of Chicago, Lincolnshire. My mom always reads Narayaniam, and I always thought it was very hard for me to learn, and always, postponed it for a while. And few of her friends joined, and they said Rajesh has been doing a wonderful job teaching, and I thought, this is an opportunity that's coming along my way, which I didn't want to miss this time. So I'm really looking forward to learning it in the right way, and very happy to be part of this group. Thank you.
Thanks, Narayani. Jayashree.
Hi, I'm Jayashree Prakash, and I used to live in Long Grove, Illinois, and I know Rajesh through the Grace Lake Temple. I know the entire family. Vishali is actually from our village, Kadayam. Her parents are from Kadayam, so I call her Kadayam girl. So, and yeah, I'm so happy to learn. I'm really blessed to start learning this Narayaniam from Rajesh. And I actually, in 2016, I started, one of my friends and I started learning from Mami in Canada. And then we didn't go, like we learned probably 2 dashakams, and then we felt it was very hard. So we did not go further. And I'm really, truly excited to learn this from you, Rajesh, and hope to recite this more often. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jayashree. Srilata Garu.
This is Srilata. I'm from Bolingbrook, Chicago. Actually, Sridevi is my sister. She was the one told about this Narayanam, about Rajesh Garu's teaching. I was very excited. I've been learning Bhagavad Gita from last 10 months. We are almost getting end to Bhagavad Gita now. So I thought, okay, Narayanam I can also learn. So this is a great opportunity for me that I'm planning to learn. Thanks a lot, Rajesh Garu. I was blessed to learn from you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. So I think the screen somehow moved. Aarti, I think St. Louis, right? Yeah. Aarti Manikandan.
Yeah, I'm Aarti Manikandan. I'm from Missouri. New Year wishes to all of you. And I'm very much looking forward to learn Narayaniam like all of you. Happy that I'm blessed to start learning it. Like everybody says, I have always felt that it is a hard one to learn. I hope I will stay with the group and complete this learning. And thank you so much, Rajesh, for teaching us this.
Absolutely. Thanks, Aarti. And Aarti came because included the other group, we have a couple of people from St. Louis who learned, so they referred Aarti as well. So, Jaya Garu.
Namaste, everybody. I am Jaya Kudravalli. I live in Burridge, Illinois. I know Rajesh through DM group, and he's a beautiful chanter. I really love listening to his chanting. So when he said that he's going to teach Narayaniam, I was really excited. I really want to learn from him because I would like to chant like him. Thank you, Rajesh.
Thanks, Jaya. Really blessed to have you as well. Shobha. Shobha Ramesh, mute lirke. Okay, we'll come back. Lakshmi Garu. Lakshmi Garu, you're on mute.
Oh, hello, namaste everybody. My name is Lakshmi Yarlagada. I live in Hinsdale. It's a western suburb of Chicago. I get to know Rajesh through Devi Mahatyam chanting, and he is beautiful, beautiful chanting. So when Jaya told me he is teaching Narayanam, I said, yes, I have no idea what Narayanam is. I never heard the name before, but immediately I Googled it. I said, oh, okay, I am in. So thank you, Rajesh, for taking time.
Absolutely, Lakshmi Garu. Glad to have you. Shobha,
Namaskaram. My name is Shobha Ramesh, and we live in Naperville. I'm very excited about being part of this Narayaniam group. I heard Rajesh's great historic feats from my friend Sangeeta, who actually put me on to Rajeshji, and then I called him and we took it from there. I've heard my father play Narayaniam every mornings at home when I was growing up as a child. With P. Leila's voice, it used to just, it would be just a great start in the mornings. But then, we didn't, I didn't get the book or learn anything. Most of the slokas, only now I'm picking up. I've just completed Vishnu Sahasranamam and Lalita Sahasranamam I've learned. So this is my third big, huge one, a task that I'm being entrusted with thanks to Rajesh.
Absolutely.
And I look forward to be learning this. And I'm really thankful to my friend for putting me through to Rajesh ji. Thank you so much and God bless.
Glad to have you. Jyoti Garu? You're on mute, Jyoti Garu. Jyoti Garu, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, namaste to all and happy Ugadi and happy wish you to everyone. And yeah, I knew Rajesh Garu from Devi Mahatyam class and so not class, I'm sorry, chanting group. So, and when I heard like, so he's teaching, so I thought just, and so I always take some, suggestions from him. So how to chant better way. So I'm looking forward, Rajesh Garu. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Geeta Garu? Geeta?
Namaste. I'm Geeta Papineni. I live in Plainfield, Chicago. I'm trying for the first time. Thanks, Rajesh Garu, for teaching us. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Hope I will continue.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we'll all work together. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Madhavi Garu?
This is a challenge for me, right, Rajesh Garu?
If you're willing to take it, so I'm glad that's what it depends, right? So
yes, thank you. I heard it from friends about Narayanam. I didn't know anything before. Last year, this time I started Devi Mahatmyam learning, so I just about finished kind of. I'm still working on practicing it, but I thought I heard about this and I thought I'll join with you.
Absolutely.
I live in Naperville, by the way. I think I know Shobha Ramesh in this group. She lives in the same subdivision, I think.
Where is it?
Are you in High Meadow subdivision?
Yes.
That's where I am too.
Oh, okay. Small world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's good. Sridevi Garu?
Hello, namaste everyone. I live in Naperville. I know Rajesh Garu from DM class, and then he helped me in fine tuning. So I'm really excited to learn Narayanam. I thought first, oh my gosh, but not 2 years ago, my daughter's mother asked me to get Narayanam book because she visited Kerala and then she went to Guru Appa temple and she sent me the picture. I like, oh my gosh, I don't know, I can learn this by myself. No, I'm not getting it. I did not get the book. Now regret not to get that. So I'm so like blessed to have Rajesh Garu teaching this class.
Very
Thank
much,
you.
Sridevi Garu.
Thank you, Rajesh Garu. Thank you, Andy.
Very much. Leena? Leena, you're on mute. You're on mute still, Leena. You're unmute. You're on. Yeah. Revati, நீங்க போறீங்களா அடுத்தது?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Namaskaram, Rajesh. I am so glad the class started on a Tamil New Year's Day. By the way, happy Ugadi, happy Tamil New Year, happy Vishu. Looks like a lot of Telugu people joined. This is the first time I heard so many Garus. I'm very excited to learn. And I'm also from St. Louis. I heard from Sri Vidya Ramesh. She's the one told you're starting the next one. And then I approached you. It's a small world. We know common friends, a lot of them from Buffalo Grove. I used to live in Buffalo Grove long time back. But for the past 30 years, I am living in St. Louis. I am also very excited like other ladies. But recently from Houston, one lady was teaching Narayanam. when you were taking to Sri Vidya. That time I just attended that class, but she's teaching all of them. So we have been going Sunday once a week. So I learned about the first 12 of Dasakams. But, Narayaniam is not easy for a first learner, first time reader or learner. It takes some time, and essentially I did practice all the 12, the 1 week, whatever she teaches that whole week, we practice the same thing and we chant all together in the class. So it is not an easy one for people who are thinking, oh, I can just make it like that. No, the Sanskrit words are little tongue twister. Some of them are how to divide, and so whenever you chant, I mark it in my book. I got this Narayaniam book when I started from the Houston lady when she told us to buy, and I can read only Tamil fluently. So I got it in Tamil, but it is exactly the same sound, and it's a very nice book. It's from Nanganallur. Somebody sent this book for me. So I'm so glad I don't need to go through the file. I can read from this book because I have problem reading the small letters. So
yeah,
I got everything. I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're all perfect. Absolutely. Thanks for
Thank
joining.
you. To everyone.
Yeah. I think Lavanya, I know, was driving. And I think Leena, I think she's redialing. Okay, so I don't know if I missed anybody. If I missed anybody, please unmute yourself and introduce. Else we'll get started, right? So I think, Nikki, I don't want to take too much time today. So what I thought is the next 30 minutes, right? Like in Hindu philosophy, you should always, the general logic is you should always ask why. Everything starts with why am I doing this, right? Why is something happening? Whether it be Vishnu Sahasranamam or Bhagavad Gita or anything, right? It always starts with the question of why. Now, you can also keep asking all the whys. I may not be able to answer all your whys, right? But at least I want to first start with why Narayaniam came about, right? And give a back. So that is about what we're going to study. 2 is about the person who wrote it. So Narayana Bhattatripat. So you have to understand about him because he is the one who actually wrote this. And number 3 is he wrote in a place, Guruvayur. So to understand the context of why he wrote it in Guruvayur, right? So those are the 3 key things that we are going to cover today, right? It will take about 20-25 minutes, right? I'm going to tell a real story about this. And then what we'll do is the last 10 minutes, we will start with the first Dasakam, first sloka today. That's the goal for today. So you're all very familiar with Mahabharata, right? So Abhimanyu's son, Parikshit, right? After all the Pandavas, the Abhimanyu was killed and all the Pandavas also eventually departed. And Parikshit was the only one who was left. And he was actually the ruler. And one day, Parikshit, he actually went hunting. And he was very thirsty. He got tired and he ended up in a forest. And there was actually a sage who was actually meditating in the forest. And Parikshit went to that sage and asked him for water and food. But the sage was, he was in Mauna Vratam, right? He was not going to talk, and plus he was meditating as well. So Parikshit got really upset. He found a dead snake which was actually lying there in that forest. So with his bow, he took the dead snake and then he put it as a garland over that saint's neck. And Parikshit then left. Now, this sage, this rishi, eventually when he opened his eyes and he realized what had happened, he was not worried about it. He didn't care about it, right? So he kind of discarded the snake. But that rishi's son, a person called Shringan, he came to know that a king like Parikshit came and insulted his father. So Shringan then went and met with Parikshit and said, since you put a dead snake on my father's shoulder, in 7 days from today, you are going to get bit by a snake and you're going to die. So when Parikshit immediately realized this thing, he comes back to the sage and the sage says, whatever my son has cursed, I cannot take it back. I'm sorry for it. I didn't want to do it, but whatever has done has happened. So you are going to die in 7 days. So Parikshit then asks that sage, what should I do for the 7 days? So the sage then tells Parikshit, you go and meet this person called as Sukha Brahmam and go and he will tell you what you need to do. So Parikshit then approaches Sukha Brahmam. Now, who is Sukha Brahmam? So Veda Vyasa, originally was the narrator of the Bhagavata Purana. Srimad Bhagavatam was originally done by Vedavyasa, and he got it directly from sage Narada. And this Sukha Brahmam is Vedavyasa's son. So when Parikshit approaches Sukha Brahmam and says, I have 7 days left, what do I do? So Sukha Brahmam says, you have no choice, but I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about the Lord in 7 days. So that was the first Saptangam that happened. Saptangam is something that is said over 7 days, right? 7. So Parikshit then heard this from Sukha Brahmam along with a lot of other sages. And this Srimad Bhagavatam, that was the kind of the first time Srimad Bhagavatam was actually explained or said to somebody, because Vedavyasa learned it, or he composed it, and he directly gave it to his son, Sukha Brahmam. Nobody else had heard about it. So this was the first time somebody heard it or people heard it. And this Srimad Bhagavatam, it talks about everything. It's one of the 18 Puranas, right? It's a big Purana. So it talks about everything around creation. It talks about all the incarnations and talks a lot about Krishna in general. So this Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukha Brahmam told Parikshit for 7 days. And at the end of the 7th day, Takshaka, who was the serpent king, eventually came and bit Parikshit, and Parikshit passed away. Now, this Srimad Bhagavatam, the challenge with Srimad Bhagavatam is it has got what they call as skandhas, which are like books or higher level than chapters. It's got 12 skandhas and 330 chapters and 18,000 slokas, which means that for anybody who's not a Vedavyasa or Sukha Brahmam, it is extremely hard. And there are a lot of people in India who do Bhagavata Saptangam and everything, right? So it's very complicated. It is, chaste Sanskrit, very difficult to chant, and it's got too many slokas. And so a lot of people are not able to chant it in Kali Yuga. So to avoid that, how do you help people who are not able to chant the Srimad Bhagavatam? So I'm going to chant one sloka about what I'm going to explain next, and I'll tell you the meaning of it. So this is a stanza written by Narayana Bhattatripat about himself. Bhukande Keralakye Saritamiha Nilam Uttare Naivanava Kshetre Ghavyuti Matre Punaruparinava Gramanam Niswadhamni Dharmishtad Bhattatantrat Yakila Matapator Matrudatta Dvijendra Jato Narayanakyo Nirabahadatulam Deva Narayanakyam. So in this place called Kerala at the time, on the northern banks of the river called Bharatapuzha, in a place called Melpattur, Narayana Bhattatri was born in 1560. And Narayana Bhattatri was a very accomplished scholar. He was born into a Nambudiri family, so he had already learned all the Vedas and everything by the time he was 16. And he was also a huge scholar in Sanskrit and mathematics. And you'll see some of those mathematics influence also come in Narayaniyam. So he had a lot of acharyas. He's written several books that he's famous for. Eventually, when he reached 16, 17 years, he got married, and then he got distracted, right? So he was not doing everything that a Brahmin is supposed to do. And one of the relative of his wife was a very famous astrologer called as Achyuta Pisarati. So one day when Achyuta Pisarati was teaching students in the veranda, Bhattatri, who was 16 or 17 years at the time, came running, and then he jumped over them. So at that time, Achyuta Pisarati then stopped him and then explained to him that, you are a Brahmin who you've learned all these things, and you are kind of idling away your time, you're wasting your time and all this. So then Bhattatripat changed, and then he continued pursuing the various things that he started doing. So he started writing a lot of books. So one day, what happens is this Achyuta Pisarati then gets rheumatoid arthritis. He falls sick. And Bhattatripat considered Achyuta Pisarati as his guru. So through some yogic means, through Tantram and Mantram, he said, my Guru Dakshina for you is going to be, I am going to take over this rheumatoid arthritis from you to me. So Narayana Bhattatripat then got afflicted with rheumatoid arthritis. And so he was thinking, what can I do now? What do I do to get rid of this rheumatoid arthritis? So he then decides to go to this place in Kerala called as Guruvayur. So the question now comes is, why did Bhattatripat decide to go to Guruvayur? and not any other place. So we'll again go back to that original Parikshit story. So after Parikshit died, his son Janame was Parikshit's son. So Janame was a very small kid when Parikshit was bit by Takshaka and Parikshit died. So when Janame grows up and he one day asks, what happened to my father? And one of the rishis there comes and says that he was bit by a snake, Takshaka. So what Janame does, he's also a learned scholar. Remember, he's coming through he's the dynasty of Arjuna, right? So he's kind of coming in that clan. So he performs a yaga called as Sarpa Satra Yaga. So when he performs that yaga, snakes, wherever they are, will automatically come and fall into the fire. So he started performing that yaga, and all the snakes around started coming and falling into the fire and dying. So one of the sage called Astika, Astika Munivar came and told him, you have your vengeance against this one snake, Takshaka, and you cannot get him because he's hiding somewhere. What is the use of killing all these snakes? So he kind of somehow convinces Janame to not do this, and Janame stops the yaga midway. But he's already killed a lot of snakes. So he gets that Sarpa Dosham into him, because of which he actually gets afflicted with a skin disease, a severe form of skin disease. So Janame is now thinking, what do I do to get rid of the skin disease? So he is then recommended by everybody is at that time, you have to go to Guruvayur, because Guruvayur was already established at that time. And they said, you have to go to this place where Guru and Vayu have actually established an idol, and they give the history of the idol and they'll talk about it. And they say, you have to go there, and that's the place you are going to go and get cured. So Janame comes to Guruvayur and then he gets cured, which is the reason Bhattatripad is thinking, if Janame who has committed so much sins, was able to come to Guruvayur and cure himself, right? I am doing something here to help my Guru, so I should also be able to get cured. That's the reason Bhattatripad also comes to Guruvayur. So that is the Mahima of Guruvayur, to be able to cure these diseases. Now, why that is the case is, several kalpams or eons back, when Brahma was in the process of creation and he was praying to Lord Vishnu, and he said, I'm not able to visualize this Brahman, right? Because that's formless and I'm not able to visualize it. So I need something that I can actually put my head around. So then Vishnu comes and presents an idol with 4 hands, Chaturbhujam, to Brahma, and says, you focus on this, meditate on this idol. So Brahma does that. And then later on, Prisni, one sage this is Satya Yuga, and he comes, and Prisni and I forgot the name of his wife. So they both are sitting there and they are praying for a child, and Brahma then tells them, you pray to this idol. So they pray to that idol for thousands of years, and then Lord Vishnu appears in front of them, and Prisni and then his wife asks Vishnu, we need a son like you to be born. So Vishnu says, I cannot have a person like me. I myself will be born to you. And because you did so much penance, I will be born to you 3 times. One as Prisni Garbha in the Satya Yuga. Next, I'll be born as Vamana to you, right? When there'll be, as Vamana in the second Yuga. And then third, finally, they are also born as Vasudeva and Devaki, to who I'll be born as Krishna. And then that same idol which they were worshipping gets moved from one yugam to the other yugam, and all of them are worshipping the same idol. Even when Vasudeva and Devaki were in the jail, they were worshipping a particular idol. So when Krishna, and we'll see it in the 38th chapter when you're reading it, is when Krishna was born as the 8th child, he was born with he was born with the 4 hands. And the only reason Devaki and Vasudeva were able to realize what this was because they were worshipping an idol exactly like that. So that idol is what has been first given to Brahma, and then went to Prisni Garbha, and then went to sage Kashyapa, and then eventually came to Devaki and Vasudeva. That idol, Krishna later on takes it from Devaki and Vasudeva, takes it to Dwaraka, and eventually when the floods come and the tsunami comes and Dwaraka is getting wiped out, he then tells one of his friends to then go and keep it in a safe place. So that is then taken by Guru and Vayu and moved to Guruvayur. That's the reason that place is called Guruvayur, because Guru and Vayu are taking it and going and establishing it in that place. So when they go to that place in Kerala, there was already a Shiva temple there, Shiva and Parvati temple. It is still there in a place called Mammiyur. However, that has taken low significance because Guruvayur name has kind of taken more prominence, but it is still there and you can go visit it. That was an even older temple. So that's where, if you heard, there were 10 sages called Prachetas, and Shiva taught them Rudra Gita. If you heard of something called Rudra Gita, that was taught in that place. So it's a very auspicious place. And that's where Guru and Vayu went and established that idol. That's why it's Guruvayur. So that's the significance of the place. So that's the reason Janemejayan also goes there, because that idol which still resides in Guruvayur is, nobody knows how old it is. It is just probably millions of years old, because it has gone through all these yugas, right, where it has been worshipped, and Krishna himself worshipped that idol in Dwaraka. So that's why Janemejayan goes there and he gets cured, and that's why Bhattatripad is saying, you know what, that's the reason I'm also going to go there, because I'm confident I will get cured, right? So that is the Sthala Purana, that is the importance of that location, right, where he's actually going. So when Bhattatripad then goes there and he doesn't know what to do, so then there was another person who actually comes here called Ramanuja Ezhuthachan, who's a very famous poet at that time, and then he tells Bhattatripad's friends that he should meena tottu kazhikuka, that is, start with the fish, he says. And Bhattatripad, being a Brahmin, knows that this person knows that he doesn't eat fish, but he immediately, it strikes his mind that he wants him to start from the fish, start from the Matsyavataram. And Bhattatripad then takes on himself to say, how do I take this Srimad Bhagavatam, which has got 18,000 stanzas, which are so complicated, and how do I condense it into something which is relatively easy for people to chant compared to Srimad Bhagavatam? So Bhattatripad, then you can still go to Guruvayur, and when you enter the main Sannidhi of Guruvayur, I forgot if it is left or right side, there will be a board which says, here is where Srimad Bhattatripad wrote Narayaniyam or composed Narayaniyam, and there will be a velakku, there will be a lamp which would be always lit there. And even when Bhattatripad wrote this, he could not write because he was completely down with rheumatoid arthritis. So he was just saying it, and he had a person who actually wrote it at this time. So what Bhattatripad did was, every day he composed one chapter, and at the end of 100 days he finished 100 chapters. And in this, essentially, he's taken the entire Srimad Bhagavatam and he has completely condensed it. So except for the first couple of dasakams, where it is Bhattaripad's own description, and then the last dasakam, last two dasakams or three dasakams, where Bhattatripad is actually giving his own thing. Everything in between is directly from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? And all the critical things have been moved over. And Bhattaripad's main thing is, he although he talks about Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga and everything, he's emphasizing completely on Bhakti Yoga as the easiest path, right, when it comes to Kali Yuga. So that's the reason he's actually written this. And Narayaniyam has about 1036 slokas or stanzas, and Dashakam means 10 stanzas in each Dashakam, each chapter. Some of them may have 12 or 13. That's why you have 100 chapters and you have 1036 slokas. And this one, the beauty of this is, it is written in first person. And what I mean by that is, when we go through the meaning, you'll see it, that he doesn't say that Krishna did it. He doesn't say that this person did it. He directly says, you did it, right? So whether he's talking about Rama Avataram, and we'll see it at that point, whether we're talking about anything, or even about the Brahman in the first chapter, he directly refers to Krishna and says, you did this, right? So it's completely written in first person. And there are a couple of times where he himself did not know what the right answer was. And the legend has it that Krishna actually came and then gave him an idea of what to write. And eventually in the 100th chapter, he got a vision of the Lord. And then he describes the Keshadipada Varnanam, which is, he describes the Lord from the hair, from the top to the foot at the bottom. And then he describes the entire thing in about 11 stanzas, right? And that's when he eventually gets cured. So that is the kind of significance of what this is, right? So the idea here is, at the very end, Bhattaripada also says that this one will result in Ayur Arogya Saukyam. So Ayuhu is long life, Arogyam is health, and Saukyam is happiness. So that is how the Narayaniam actually ends. The last word, 3 words are Ayur, Arogya, Saukyam. And at the end of every chapter, except I think one chapter, and I forgot which one that is, we will see that at the end of every chapter, he says, please cure me of all the diseases and of all the sufferings I'm actually going through. So he describes, for example, if it is Ramavataram, he describes Ramavataram in the full chapter, and then he says, you as Rama did all these things and you helped all these people, you accomplished all these things, but please help me also out, right? So please help me also get cured. And all of this, he says in one of the Dastakam, is so that I can continue to worship you. Because he says, I really want to worship you, but for me to worship you, I need 2 things. I need long life and I need good health. But how do I get long life and good health? Also by worshiping you. So please continue to give me that. So it's completely based on the Bhakti Margam, right? And like I think somebody else said, these things are amazing when you chant it, when you start reciting it, you'll really start feeling it, because it is directly done in first person, right? So we will also go through the meaning as we go through each of the dastakams, right? So that was the context I wanted you all to understand, right? Before you start chanting, is what is this? Why was it written, right? And about the author as well, because that's the reason it is famous, right? Because it's very difficult for us to go learn Srimad Bhagavatam. It is just extremely complex. So at least this is a relatively easier one to do. So that's the background. So I'll maybe 5 minutes to see if anybody has any questions, right? And then I will get started with chapter 1 stanza today.
So in this, we do have all the Dasavataras, and then is it all about Dasavataras?
Yeah, so the way it is structured is the first set of about the 10 chapters. The first chapter is Bhattacharya describing Lord Krishna in Guruvayur. That's the first chapter. The second chapter, or he describes the glory of the Lord in the first chapter. Second chapter, he describes Krishna. Then third, he goes into a little bit more of how the creation and all of that stuff, right? That's the first set of chapters. And then up to Dashakam 36, he covers the first 7 the first 7 avatars, 8 avatars are all covered up to Dashakam 36. Then from 37th Dashakam, he starts with Krishna Avataram, 37, 38. 38th chapter, Krishna is born. Then this goes until 89th chapter. This goes, the 89th is Santana Gopala Akyanam. So it goes up to that, it's all about Krishna, right? And then from 90 through 99 or 90 through 97, he talks about the devotion, why devotion is important, how do you be more devoted, about karma yoga, about all the yogas and how you can be more attached to Krishna. He talks about that. 98 is more like a namaskara slokam for Narayaniyam. And then finally 100 is the full description of the Lord as he sees life, right? So that's why what we have done for this 20 is we are going to cover number 1, 98 and 100, and then important and all the avatarams in between, right? Rama Avataram, Matsyam, Kurmam, Varaham, Narasimham, Vamanam. We'll cover all those avatarams, and then specific chapters of Krishna Avataram we'll pick and cover in this 20. And then the next set of 30 Dasakams in the next batch would be getting more into all the Krishna Avataram details. So that is how it is laid out, and that's what we'll cover.
Rajesh, I had a question. Can you chant this for somebody else? Like if somebody in the family, say, is sick, can you chant this for them, or they have to chant it?
No, absolutely, you can chant. Again, it's and Narayanam, and even if they cannot chant the whole thing, there are so many important stanzas which people have recommended, right? So that Periyava, in Kanchi, he's also, they all recommended specific stanzas saying, hey, if you're not able to chant the whole thing, just chant this one stanza, right? That is good, right? And again, in the end, he also says, like everything else, right? He says whether you're chanting it or you're hearing it is also good if you cannot chant it, but also you can also chant for others as well.
Because I read somewhere that the person who's having the ailment has to chant.
I mean, that is ideally.
Okay.
Ideally, that is the case, right? Because then you really start feeling it. But if you cannot, right? That's why you can pick specific stanzas, and they can chant specific stanzas as well. right?
Thank you.
So Rajesh, would you be telling us what are those important stances that Periva has highlighted? And
Yeah. As we are going through each chapters, right? I think maybe
will
the
let us
specific
know.
stanzas we'll say, you know what, just mark this and keep, right, or something like that. So, you know, those will be like the important. Of course, the important stanzas are spread across all the 100, right? For the 20 that we are going to do, we will.
You will let us know. Okay. And then will we be covering all the meanings also along?
Yeah,
with
we'll be covering the meaning of all those 20 chapters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rajesh, I have a question.
Uh.
So do you want us to follow the PDF that you sent or any book that that you have?
I need you to have some kind of a paper copy, because, and you'll see now as we're doing the first stanza, is I will tell you how to break the words. I will tell you where to join. I'll tell you where to pause. And I would say, okay, put a comma here, right? So that way, when we are chanting with others, it's all very consistent and you're also breaking at the right places. So you will need to have a pencil or something with you and do those markings. So whether you have printouts or whether you have a book, it's definitely recommended that you have one of those two and not do just online.
Okay.
Right? And since we're doing only
any book is fine, right? I have a book which is okay.
Yeah, any book is fine. And what we'll always notice is, like any other script, right, is there will always be differences in words, in some words. So since I've done this 2 times, 3 times now, when we come to that and if you say, hey, my book has this, and I'll tell you what to fix. So there will always be few corrections here and there, right, in terms of words itself.
Okay, thank you.
Rajeshji, this is Leena. I'm sorry I had trouble with my audio before, but thank you so much for conducting this class. I'd never heard about Narayanam before, and so it was wonderful to learn the history. I just came to know about this from Lakshmi Aunty just a few minutes ago, so I think it was meant to be for me to learn this. I'm very excited.
Absolutely.
And I have a question. So will all these sessions be recorded? And,
yes, everything will be recorded. So even this is getting recorded right now. And what I do is I just upload it to a channel I have. So you can just, if you're not, and I'll put it in the WhatsApp group as well. So if you miss a class, you can listen to that. And at the end of every chapter, I will send a recording of the chapter. So it will be like me chanting the chapter in a relatively slow pace. So you can also practice with it. And the only expectation I have is when you come to the next class, I will randomly pick 2 students and I will expect you to chant the previous chapter. So you have to practice the chapter, because if you don't practice the chapter, there's no way you can keep up, right? Because we'll start doing at the rate of 1 chapter a class. And some chapters are really hard. Some chapters are relatively easy. So you kind of have to do that. Also another thing is, this Sunday, we are having a 50 Dashakam Parayanam by the other batch, because they have completed 50 chapters. So we are going to do a Parayanam. I'll put the link in the WhatsApp group as well. It starts at 8:30 to 9 is Vishnu Sahasranamam, and then 9 to 12:30, it will take 3.5 hours. So they are going to chant 50 chapters. So each one is going to chant 2 chapters. And that's going to happen on this Sunday. And then on May 9th, we are also doing it at the Grace Lake Temple as well. So, and once the flyer comes out, I'll forward it to the groups. You're all welcome to join whenever you're available. It'll be with mask and social distancing and all of that, So, okay. So there's no other questions, and maybe we can start with the first stanza today, right? And the way I typically do this is, some of them are 4-liners, some of them are 2-liners. So if it is 2-liners, we will do it together. If it is 4-liners, then we'll split it into 2 and 2. So first I will chant that full paragraph. Then I explain the meaning of that paragraph. And then we will go through how to chant it, right? Where to put commas and all that. And then I'll pick 2 lines. I'll say the 2 lines. And the 2 students I pick, they will chant it 2 times each. Then we'll go to the 3rd and 4th line. I'll teach how to chant it. Again, you chant it 2 times each. So that is how we will kind of generally do it. So in case, since we're almost at the end of this thing, I won't go through the meaning today. We'll just do the one stanza. So maybe I can, any 2 people who want to volunteer today?
I can.
Okay. So Revati and Jayashree. Okay. All right. So I'll first chant the 4 lines and then I'll tell you how to do it. Sandhranandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam कालदेशावधिभ्यां निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानाम्. So as I'm also now going to tell you how to do it, when I'll break the words. So for you, a lot of people, what they do is they actually take a pencil and put a divider. So it's easier for you to then remember, right? Because otherwise you'll forget how to do it. So some words, because Sanskrit, Revati, ஒரே ஒரு second mute la போய்க்குங்க.
Sorry.
So in Sanskrit, because of sandhi, some words you cannot break it easily. So unfortunately, you will have to say it as a full word, right? So in the first one, so Sandra Nandava Bodhatmakam Anupamitam. Okay, Sandra Nandava Bodhatmakam Anupamitam. And then put a comma there. And I say put a comma there, that means you pause briefly at that point. Kala Desha Vadibhyam, comma again. Nirmuktam Nityamuktam, comma. Nigama Shata Sahasrena Nirbhasya Manam. Sandranandavabodhatmakamanupamitam Kaladeshavadibhyam Nirmuktam Nityamuktam Nigamashatasahasrena Nirbhasyamanam. So Jason, you first try Pandrela.
Sandranandavabodhatmakam anupamitam kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam. Sandranandavabodhatmakam anupamitam kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam.
And after Nityamuktam, there is a comma, right? So there's a brief pause. So Nirmuktam Nityamuktam Nigamashatasahasrena. So just a brief pause. Okay.
Okay. இன்னொரு தடவை சொல்லணுமா?
That's fine. That's fine. It's good. Revati, நீங்க போங்க.
Santranandavabodhatmakam anupamitam kaladesavadibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamasarasahasrena nirbhasyamanam.
அது வந்து நிகம ஷத. So shata sahasrena.
Nigama shatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam.
ராஜேஷ் அதை எப்படி பிரிக்கணும்னு சொல்லுங்களேன் ஒரே ஒரு தடவை. நிகம
shata sahasrena.
So pause விடணுமா? நிகம
இல்ல, that is on the pause. Only when I say comma there is a pause. When I'm breaking it, it is just so that you can break the words to say.
Okay.
Revati, second time, 2 times சொல்லுங்க.
Okay. Santranandavabodhatmakam anupamitam kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam.
Quite good. So in the first line வந்து anupamitam, அதுக்கு பின்னாடி, before that there is no need of pausing, there is just a breaking, so you can say that together, but just I'm splitting it all. Next, aspashtam drishtamatre, comma, punaruru purushart. So the way you can break that is punaruru purushart atmakam. So that and the word is not purusharthatmakam, it is there. So you can break it into punaruru purushart atmakam brahma tattvam, comma, tattavat bhati sakshat guru pavana pure comma, hanta, another comma there, pause after hanta, bhagyam jananam. And we'll discuss the meaning as to why that pause is there next class. Aspashtam drishtamatre punaruru purushartatmakam brahma tattvam tattavat bhati sakshat guru pavanapure hanta bhagyam jananam.
अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरु पुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानाम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरु पुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानाम् சரியா பாஸ் பண்ணினேனா
अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरु पुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावत् भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानाम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरु पुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावत् भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानाम्.
So we'll stop it here. So this is how we will do it. And this particular stanza, at the end of every class, we will say this and say Kayena Vacha, and that's how we'll end the class. Okay, so this is a very important stanza.
Will you just chant this whole shloka once so that I can go to the very end of the recording, and then I never heard this before, so I have to.
No worries. No worries. I'll chant it, and anyway, at the end of this full dashakam, I will send this one MP3, right, which will have the full 10 things, right?
Okay.
Sandranandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshavadebhyam Nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punarurupurushartatmakam brahmatattvam tattavadbhati sakshat gurupavanapure hanta bhagyam jananam. Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. So
the question I had is, so the tune is also very important, right?
Yeah, so it's mainly for consistency, because the 4-liners and the 2-liners will have different tunes. And there are totally about 3 different tunes which will keep repeating throughout the thing. Except for Dashakam 69, which has got a completely unique tune. Other than that, we'll have 3 tunes. So it's the same thing we'll keep repeating.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else from anybody else? We'll wrap up with Kayena Vacha and end the class today. Yeah. Kahena Vacha Manasendrihirva Buddhyatmana va Prakrite Swabhava Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayana Heti Samarpayami. So thanks a lot, everyone. Just one last comment and then I'll let you all go. So ideally, it's easy for me if there are only 8 to 10 in a batch, because then I can pay individual attention to everybody. If there are 20, the worry is I'll pick 2 people for repeating, 2 people for the class, and the remaining 16 people are not going to participate. So my suggestion I was thinking is I'm willing to go extra and make it into 2 batches, but I know timing is super complicated for everybody to align on that. So we will still retain the 8 to 9:30. Maybe the first 10, the people who were originally there, and I know who they are, we can stick to the 8 to 9:30. I want to see if the others we can pick a second slot, because otherwise my worry is I will not be able to give equal attention to 20 people in one class. Okay. So anyway, we'll discuss this through WhatsApp, right? but we'll see. So that's really, we'll have to kind of think through that. That's the only concern I'm having. Other than that, nothing else.
Rajesh, are you still keeping the class this Saturday?
So no,